man was known to wrap his feet with leaves and twigs and animal skin and fur to protect the feet. It was very practical. There was no sense of fashion or style at this time. It simply allowed us to hunt more efficiently. So, you remember, we were all hunters and gatherers many, many thousands of years ago. There were no accountants, no lawyers, no doctors. So this is what we had to do to survive. So, believe it or not, even a caveman wore shoes. And we start in China, 3000 BC. According to historians, the Chinese were the very first to design footwear, fashionable footwear, wooden platform clogs, and fancy slippers made of cloth and silk, as we see. In Greece, 500 to 300 BC, they designed gladiator-style sandals. During this classical era, very popular style to wear, and we still see them today as we're coming now to the warmer weather, the spring and the summer, and I promise that warm weather is coming. Okay? But we see this a lot in women's footwear. In Italy, from the 5th century to the 16th century, they designed lots of footwear, and they were very influential. In the medieval times, the Italians became the leaders in footwear design. Venice, Bologna, Florence, and Milan have been influencing fashion footwear for many, many years, 500 years or more. And back during this time, they designed the stiletto. And also the winkle-picker pointed toe box. They're still popular styles today. And did you know that the Roman Emperor Caligula was one of the first to wear spiked shoes? He wore spiked shoes for fighting. So here we see a beautiful silver stiletto shoe. In the 15th century to the 17th century, the French designed lots of footwear. Okay. And today we think of some French designers like Christian Louboutin, we think of Chanel. Well, during the Renaissance, they designed lots of footwear with special ornaments, buckles, brocades, and jewelry. And this was popularized by the aristocracy, people like Louis XIV, Marie Antoinette. Their fashion was always important. They always looked really fabulous. And they used some special materials at this time as well, satin and silk and peau de soie. And there was a very popular shoe in France, in Paris actually, at this time, called the elevated chopine. And that's what we see here. It's an antique shoe, very hard to find today, but it actually made you much taller. And we know the aristocracy liked to be taller. It was a very dominant figure that was taller. So they wore these about 4 inches off the ground. So this was a special shoe that was worn in Paris. So we hear the sounds of the Beatles, and we think of England. Well, the English were very, very specific about their footwear. They designed the military boots first. In the 18th to 19th century, they also designed some rustic walking shoes, and they had specialized sports footwear. The English also made it so that we had a right foot different from the left foot. Before this, all the shoes looked the same. They were just kind of ovals, rounded. But now we had a specific fit for the right foot and the left foot. And we also had a shoe sizing system that was designed by the English. So we knew if we were fitting our shoes right, are we a 7, an 8, a 9? So very, very careful about their footwear. And the English also were writing medical literature in the 1750s 70s to analyze whether or not your footwear was suitable for healthy living. So they were talking about, and this is nearly 300 years ago, talking about health and wellness related to footwear. The English are very specific about certain things, especially footwear. So now we come to the 20th and the 21st centuries. Military footwear was very common during this time because there were wars being fought all over the world. And in World War I, they tested out waterproof shoes. Factories were built during the Industrial Revolution, produced large varieties of shoes so more and more people could wear shoes. In 1908, over 100 years ago, Converse sneakers was developed. It's one of the first brands of sneakers. Now they're owned by Nike, a footwear giant, apparel and footwear. But Converse was started because they were using the vulcanized rubber that was discovered by Charles Goodyear back in 1839. So they used that rubber material to make the sneakers. And here we have the Chuck Taylor All-Stars, which were very popular for Converse.